Hi, Steve Fields back with Hobie Fishing. I'm here with the new Australian champion for 2019 Series 11. Well done, Kris Hickson.
Thank you very much.
What a script. That was very tight towards the end there.
It was. I would honestly say it came down to my last cast. I'd worked on flat pretty much all day, didn't catch a lot off it, and Brett was filming me pretty much the whole time, and he actually asked me a question and said, how long till you're going to head back? How long is it going to take? So about 40 minutes I'll go and literally hooked up to my second biggest fish of the day, which was about a 400 gram upgrade. So got lucky.
Yeah. Now we talked the difference between the power boats and the kayaks. You came in this, like a lot of the top guys, with a fairly okay game plan of trying to manage the fishery, and we had the weather change. All of that subtly came through. Yep. Did that change things for you where you had to go?
Not really. I honestly didn't have much of a plan to start with. Okay. I did a lot of looking around on pre-fish, trying to find backup if it did glass out, the wind didn't come through, and the edges started to fail. Tried to find some deep spots and stayed well away from the areas I normally fish. On a whim, hoping that it was going to be good. And the first day it kind of bit me, because when I went to go to most of the spots that I like fishing in the western side of the lake, the weed was gone, the bait was gone, it just wasn't right. I think the fish were there, but not in numbers I needed to fish the whole weekend, so I switched it up, and yeah.
Day one, you said the western side. Where did you fish on the western side?
I don't know the name of anything here.
Okay.
First bay on the left, past Kangaroo Point, I think it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fished pretty much that whole bay. It was more a matter of, I know there's fish on every bank in this place. Like, there literally is fish. You just got to find the right spot at the right time. So it was about covering ground until I got bit, slow down, work it. Nothing there, keep going, do the same thing. Fished some deep stuff on the way over. Fished a ridge on the way, and then headed to the northern side into another bay. Fished 2 bays on the way home and came back. It was just a matter of covering ground. Day 2 and today, I headed southeast onto that southeastern side towards the inlet.
Yep.
Started up really tight. Actually, I started deeper yesterday, but it was too windy, too weedy. Couldn't fish it properly. And as I said, when you asked at the briefing night what the game plan was, it was pretty much let the fish and the weather tell me what to do, and what I did. I had a feeling they were there and just had to work for them.
Okay. What were predominantly the selection of lures that you used this weekend to put the fish in the bag?
Standard me through the kitchen sink at them, but the standouts were, the first day was definitely small cranks.
Yep.
Colour wasn't too important. Threw a lot of black because it's just a tried and tested colour here. But I think the fish that I caught, they would have eaten anything you put on their head. Yesterday, I think the majority of the bag came on plastics, but I did catch fish on top water, shallow jerk baits, cranks. And today, I think that whole bag came on cranks. Mm-hmm. But I started off with plastics, pulled the hooks on a couple of really nice fish on soft plastics this morning as well. And actually did a couple of funny things today. I fished in a fairly deep weed bed, and I had a feeling the fish were there was bait there was tail around, it looked right, but I couldn't get bit too often. So I threw a top water across it and got a lot of rises, but no commitment.
Yep.
Went back and caught one on a crank, and I think that's what got the fish to bite, was throwing a big noisy top water over the shallow water, get their attention, get them to come out of the weed and check it out, and then go back with a crank they were willing to eat. So super finesse, 3 pounds straight through, tiny little crankbait, tiny hook, subtle bites, but that's what you needed to get them to stick.
What rods and reels you use? I know you get some support from Dial, but what range of rods and reels that you like on these particular boats?
I had a pretty big arsenal on the go. Took seven rods with me, but they were predominantly 7 to 7'6", so open water, lots of long rods, long casts. On the flats, I like to make as big a cast as I can, because the further away I can get that lure, the more chance I haven't spooked that fish. So for the cranks, the main rod I was fishing was a 722 ultralight infeed.
Yep.
Awesome rod for that sort of thing. Super slow taper, nice and spongy, perfect for those tiny hooks when they just pin them in there. And I find the fish if they have a pluck at the lure, they don't feel it. It has a bit of give, so they might come back. For the soft plastics, I was throwing, the reel on that was just a 2000 shallow spool LT Caldia.
Yep.
And the plastics rod I fished most of the time was a 722 UL, same specs, but a little bit faster action in that one. It was a TD0, Gen Black 2000 reel, 8 pound J-braid grand, and 3 and 4 pound leaders.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. I see your mate Daniel Bounds on here. He's up in your neck of the woods twice. So you've got to come back and at least catch up with this guy. So
Yeah, well, I'm playing my calendar out this year, and I think I can get to. I've looked at about 5 rounds. So I had a big year last year, a lot of overseas travel, and a few other big events here with the Worlds as well. It took a lot of time, so I couldn't commit to too many. I had a bit of kind of a year off, but not. But this year, back in the game, not only one planned overseas trip, and plenty more weekends coming to this.
Sounds good. Well, it's really good to see your name on the championships, and really glad to see you fishing out of the Hobies. And I hope you've had a good series overall, and I hope you obviously had a great championship.
Yeah, it's
today.
been a great weekend as usual. That's pretty much why I come back and do the Hobie tournaments. It's less, I'll say less pressure than the powerboat tournaments. You don't have the boat to worry about, especially the ACs. We get it handed to us on a platter here, and can't thank Hobie and you enough for putting it out there again. If anyone wants to do a tournament, these are the ones to get into.
Thank you. Kris, thank you very much.
Mate.
And congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you very soon.
Cheers.